At the time of this filming, Bungie, a game design company who developed Halo and Destiny, was hiring for positions like gameplay animator, lead story technology engineer, localization tester, and user researcher. Just think how jobs will change in the future as new technologies emerge. We know that the ability to communicate ideas and collaborate will remain highly prized skills. These featured jobs, as well as future jobs, are pointing to skills that we can model through game design assignments in class. Have you ever provided an assignment for students to create a game for others to play? Something amazing happens. Students get creative, they try new things, and they want you to play their game. But then, student interest will often wane because a game will only be as good as the student can design on their own. Current multi-platform games cost millions to be produced, and companies actively seek employees who work well with others and are willing to revise design ideas based on feedback. The ability to receive feedback and a willingness to improve quality is a skill that should be honed in a classroom. Educators can bring game designers and producers direct to their students through Skype in the classroom. This exposure allows the opportunities for professionals to provide some of their experiences of iterations and failures. Our best work is refined when we let others give us feedback to improve what we produce. If you're going to assign a game, leave time for both player feedback and gameplay, as well as game improvements based on play testing. Model the writing process in developing games where there is always room for improving the work and nothing is ever finished. This is the time to bring in modern skills like communication, collaboration, critical and computational thinking, and creativity. Creating games also mimics the engineering process, where prototyping, iteration, and redesign will make experiences rich for students. Create a scenario where a game has an appeal to an age group other than the student's age group. The teams will have to put in a lot of thought into how to make the game appeal to other players unlike themselves. Give students specifications such as designing an educational game teaching about a real-world challenge like composting to reduce waste. Have them create a game with teammates and create an evaluation which will be based on how they addressed customer specifications. Take it one step further and have students enter competitions. For example, Microsoft sponsors an annual event called Imagine Cup. Imagine Cup is a global competition that empowers the next generation of computer science students to team up and use their creativity, passion, and knowledge of technology to create applications that shape how we live, work, and play. On the other hand, board games with game pieces or pawns require just as much thought for design as games designed with Scratch, Odoo, or block coding programs. There are open source or free options that have also been introduced for game design. But before you decide on the platform, decide on the end learning objectives. What do you want students to learn, and what final product can get them there? What resources do you have available? How much time do you have to introduce new tools into the classroom? You could start with a small gaming club for both students and staff. Even simple paper-based games can have complexity and game detail that students can build using easy resources for a big impact. There is much to be done when you are introducing a creative game project, but following a good design process and being thoughtful about the learning outcomes you wish to achieve will help the student experience to be more like a real-world application. The authenticity will really pay off in student engagement and interest. When any game is brought into a classroom, it can provide interest, but the best games increase the original learning outcomes at the same time. The science of gaming is so much more about discovery than finding answers. You learn more about yourself and your students while you are playing, challenging, and stretching thinking. Take the next few minutes to explore the resources we've provided in the OneNote notebook linked in this course. See how you might be inspired to engage your students in a new way. Post your ideas in the comment section below to help others become inspired.